Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live episode of Be the Boss of Your Money. I love that, Be the Boss of Your Money. Today is a special day because I have a special guest. I have a very good friend of mine. Her name is Michelle Blum. Many of my viewers know who she is because she's been a guest on my videos, my edited videos, and live streams so many times. But she always has really smart things to say. She's very kind. She's quite brilliant, quite successful, and she's just a very giving, lovely person. But first, let's do a quick update because this is Be the Boss of Your Money, and it's built on a couple of things. It's built on talking about and educating you about investing, personal finance, and some business. And this show is all about making you your best possible your best possible version of your financial self. That's what this is all about. So thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching this in a live, I'd love to see your questions. Michelle and I will be happy to answer your questions. And if you're watching this in the replay, I'd like to welcome you as well. And if you have any questions for us, certainly go ahead and ask those in the comments as if you were watching this in the live stream. We would love to take a crack at answering those, and we'll keep up with this and make sure we don't miss anybody. So first, market starts off this week. The stock market, another down day, a down Monday, down over 500 points, 2% plus down on the major averages. So what's wrong? Well, first of all, we just had two really good back-to-back weeks, setting the major averages up double digits in just 2 weeks' time, closer to about, I would say, 13 to 15%, depending on which benchmark you're going to use. So we were due for a little bit of a pullback, maybe even starting to get a little bit overbought. We did break through the 50-day moving average a couple of days ago on Friday, so that was very helpful. Today, oil took another plunge. I think there's a lot of confusion. I think the plunge in oil today, and you hear, oh, futures contracts went negative for the first time ever. I think there's a lot of drama out there that's missing the point. Today, we're coming up to an expiration for oil futures. That's why you saw the oil market go down, and that's what the big talk is in the market. But the forward prices of oil, meaning futures prices, are showing oil much higher. Well, anything's higher than negative, but it's higher, $20 plus West Texas Intermediate. That's the kind of oil that is landlocked that we produce in the United States, and we ship it through pipelines. So it's not really as serious as you think. Certainly, we have an overabundance of oil and we have crushed demand. In fact, the International Energy Agency says oil demand has gone back to 1995 levels on a global basis. I mean, that is stunning. But again, it's all due to the pandemic that's going on. And I sound like a broken record, but if we can get through this, well, then that simply means we start to come back. Some of this excess supply starts to get soaked up in the oil market, and that helps the major benchmarks. Benchmarks react. The market goes down when oil plunges like this because, A, it highlights how deep this recession really is. It also highlights the fact that there are a lot of companies that a lot of banks lend money and a lot of investors lend money to oil companies. So people are worried about the knock-on financial contagion effects of that. And also because the oil industry employs a lot of people. Okay, we see that some 22 some odd million people have already filed for first-time unemployment claims in the last couple of weeks. So it's just another kick in the butt is what this is. But I don't think it's as serious as people saying, oh, because the oil went negative today on the most forward futures contract. I think what it really just tells you is nobody wanted to own it. Nobody wants to take delivery of more oil. Refineries who use up the oil, they don't want it to convert it into gasoline because they have enough. So basically, energy storers are paying buyers to actually take it off their hands. But that's an issue for another day. So what I'd like to do now is just simply bring in my introduction, bring in my esteemed guest, Michelle Blum. Today is we're doing something different. We're going on a different track, and that track is to talk about business and what businesses are doing to pivot to adapt themselves to this crazy time we're in. We all hear about how a lot of businesses are going to go out of business, but we hear a lot of the miracle stories. Fabric companies are making masks, and automobile companies are making ventilators. A lot of businesses are pivoting. It doesn't always have to be something dramatic, but it has to be something that we can do. So here's the intro, and then right when the intro is over, we're bringing in Michelle. And we're back. So I bring to you all Michelle Blum, founder, owner, president, CEO, chairman of the board of NutrishMish. How are you, Michelle?
Hey, Mitch, what's going on?
So much is going on. Look, it's a really busy time. The market's open. Clients have financial goals. And I've managed to do some, pivoting of my own to make sure that not only does my business survive for my clients' benefit, but that my business will thrive when we come out of this pandemic, because we will come out of this. If you don't think we're coming out of this, I was speaking to a mutual friend of ours, Rob Basso, and we're talking, and he's like, I just said that to somebody, because I said to him, if you don't think we're coming out of this, then just go home, quit, close your business.
Oh, we're coming out of this.
We're coming out of this. So tell us a little bit about NutrishMish, what you do, and then we'll get into what you could tell us about how you're pivoting, because I want to learn from you. I want to see what you're doing, because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah. So, like Mitch said, my company's name is NutrishMish, and we're a one-on-one weight loss nutrition counseling program. And our whole deal is we look for the real results. We don't really judge success by how much weight you lost, because anyone could lose weight on any program. It's, did you keep it off? So we do that real, true lifestyle change.
Did you keep it off? I love that.
Keep it off. Yeah. So we really do that true lifestyle change, and we really get to the core of people's, problems. And, we have an incredible, stat as far as, how many of our clients do end up losing weight and keeping it off. So we do it with real life stuff going on. And I'm super proud of all of our clients and my staff and everyone. They've been always amazing, but definitely during this time, they've been especially amazing.
Well, how is business different for you in the last, when did this all start? About 4 or 5 weeks ago? Like
Yes.
the heavy, people started social distancing before Governor Cuomo said non-essentials go home.
Yeah.
But it started before that, but how has it affected you?
It's affected me in a lot of ways, personally as well as professionally. And, I wanted to just be, really clear with this, is that, this was humbling for me. And, I have so many friends who are business owners, and, some of the advice and the tips that I have, it sounds like, oh, it's easy for her to say, she was able to, adapt, her industry allowed for it. And, I understand that not every industry allows for it as easily as mine did. And I was super grateful for that. But, someone said to me once, and it was super impactful. They said, no one really has a resource problem. They have a resourceful problem. And I had a million rebuttals when I first heard that. I was like, what about this? And what about that? And, the person was very skilled and had an answer for everything. And I think, one of the coolest examples of that is, who you're having on tomorrow, John, talk about a resourceel.
John Robertson of the Sexy Salad. I mean, his head must be made out of granite, because he runs through barriers like
oh my God, but incredible. That's an example, because, it's easy, when you're in an industry where it's like, okay, yeah, logically, she could have shifted and she could have done those things. I can't do that in my industry. You have somebody like John who, owns a restaurant like everyone else, and what he was able to do, and how I don't want to give it away for tomorrow, but his level of resourcefulness was beyond brilliant, and it wasn't a resource problem, it was a resourceful problem, and he just nailed it. So I understand that some businesses are easier than others to adapt to, but an example like his is one that wouldn't have been, but he did a brilliant job with it.
That's right. When I talk to people, and I talk to people a lot. It's a big part of my career. Plus, I enjoy speaking with people. If you haven't noticed. So, one of the things that I feel like I have to say to people is, "How you doing? How's business for you?" I'm like, I don't overplay. Look, the stock market's open. The volatility is massive. Clients will have their financial goals. I'm busier now than I was before. I'm not saying it's all a good busy. I mean, I maybe I'd rather be less busy and going back to the way we were. Okay. but I'm not the dealer at the poker table. I'm just playing the hand that I've been dealt like everybody else. So I'm working a lot harder, and I'm working, and I'm much more creative. But you're here, so this is about you. I want to interview you because you're you. So what are some of the things that you're doing that are helping you,
So
pivot?
yeah, and so most of our clients that we see do come into our offices. We do have a fair amount of people that we do see virtually all over the country. So we did have a virtual program, thank God, kind of set up. We did have the capacity to do that, because what happened was we'd have clients local here to Long Island, but then they would have relatives who lived, out of state, and they would be like, oh my gosh, I have the best nutritionist, and they would want to come see us. So, in response to that, we did kind of get ourselves set up virtually, which was nice. Not something I maybe put enough energy into. I just kind of, if we had these people that wanted to see us virtually, we would take them on, of course, but it wasn't something I was actively seeking. And when this happened, the only thing that I said to my staff, I called an emergency staff meeting at like 8:00 the next morning once I kind of saw the writing on the wall. And I was like, your only job right now is to provide as much value to your clients as you possibly can. And that's just been like our theme of the past 2 months. We've really tried to do as much for our clients as we possibly could, because I always feel like if you're doing the right thing by your clients and I'm doing the right thing by my staff, the right thing is going to happen to me in whatever way that it can. And if it doesn't with that way, then it probably never was. So my whole thing, during this time has just been add value, make sure we're doing everything that our clients, need, make sure you're thinking of all the issues that might pop up that are very unique to the situation. And, let's really kind of like thrive. That's been the word that I've been using to my clients, to my staff, like let's thrive. There's gonna be a lot of stories that come out of this. We're making our story now. Let's make it a really good one that we're proud to tell.
Well, I want to just put something up here for a second, and I've been waiting for the right time to do this, so I'm just gonna put this on the screen real quick, okay? Sorry,
Perfect moment.
that was my moment to shine. Thank you very much. So, how do you have like the mental, flexibility? Because some people are just like, I can't do it. This is how I do it, and this is the only way it works. Now, I understand. Look, I know people in automobile dealerships, and the most they could do is keep their service center open, and they're selling cars, but they're doing it online. They're doing it in person. They're bringing cars to people's houses. They found a way. I'm doing curbside pickup for my groceries, or I'm going to the Sexy Salad, but he'll now deliver. But tell us some of the things. Oh, here's what I want to ask you. How glad are you that how freaking happy are you that you got into social media, video, and remote nutrition advising a long time ago?
Well, you and I geek out over this. Could not be more grateful for all of that. And again, that came out of resourcefulness too, because when I started my company, I was a little younger than I am now. I was 23 at the time. And, resourcefulness came from, I didn't have $1 single dollar to put towards marketing. So, at the time, Instagram wasn't super big. YouTube was just kind of starting to sort of be a thing. Facebook was really where everything was at. So I was like, all right, well, I have free advertising through Facebook. Let me just get really, really good at that. So again, out of a resourceful kind of issue there, that's what introduced me to social media. And, we actually didn't pay a dime for marketing for the first 5 years we were in business. We just solely used social strategies for that. Now we do, but it took about 5 years before we actually had to.
So I'm going to do a couple of shout outs. There's some comments coming in, and some people are giving us some of these. By the way, folks, we're talking about nutrition with Michelle Blum. And if you have a question, go ahead, hit us in the comments. We're going to take a look at those. If you're a little shy, you're not sure about what to ask, words of encouragement are always appreciated. And there's a salad emoji. Drop us a salad emoji, okay? I'd love to see a salad emoji in there if you just want to throw some support at Michelle's way. And certainly if you know Michelle, you know how wonderful she is. And if you use her services at NutrishMish, let us know about your experience, okay? I will delete any messages, anything that's not. No, I'm kidding. Just we want to know. And so, Michelle, what else did you do to pivot? So now we talked about some strategies, but we get to this day. Everyone has to work from home. You tell your staff, massive value to everybody. Boom. I saw you're doing an online cooking class. You're doing like online exercise classes.
Yeah.
You're doing recipe. I mean, am I killing here? You do it. I don't want to take your thunder.
Yeah. So we have a private Facebook group for all of our clients, current and past. And we kind of were just like, all right, this is what we have. Let's use it as a hub. And we were joking around. We're like, what's the cruise itinerary for today? So we're literally trying to make it, because in the beginning, I just remember from, 9/11 and even from, Sandy, in addition to, and just people wanting to stay healthy and they want to stay in their routines. We really
Hurricane Sandy.
What did I say?
We said Sandy, but for people outside of the country, we had a hurricane, superstorm Sandy, and it kind of wrecked Long Island for like for years. It took to fully get back, but for about a month and a half, 2 months, we were off our feet. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I remember from those things that we had going on that people craved a sense of normalcy. And, when you work one-on-one with somebody and you work, on something like nutrition where it is very, intimate, and it does relate back to some other problems and stuff. I said to all my girls, I was like, you are providing a sense of normalcy for them. Also, we are big kind of proponents of making a lifestyle change. And one part of our mantra is that in order to make a lifestyle change, you have to do things with real life stuff going on. And as bizarre that it is this is real life, you still have to do that. And then, shortly after the hashtag quarantine15 started coming around, and, I saw all these people posting all these memes about, everybody gaining weight, and like, my God,
some of them are really funny.
Yeah. So we just tried to, we really focused all of our content, everything that we gave people. What value was it providing? We did live workout classes. We had one of our clients who's a Pilates instructor come in and do something for us. My friend Tony, who's a chef, he did a live cooking demo on Saturday. We've been having guided meditations. Like, we've just been really trying to,
You're making it fun. You're kind of, you're making it, enjoyable, and you're giving everyone a schedule, and you're coming up with creative stuff, and you're giving people a way to take back some control, because I think that's the big thing. We lost control over our life in a way.
Yeah, and food and control do go very hand in hand. There's a lot of psychological components to that. So we wanted to make sure that our guys were empowered, and they're getting enough emails in their inbox of like, what our company is doing during COVID-19. Like they don't need that. They need to forget. They need to have some fun. They need to feel empowered. They need to have strategies to manage this stuff. They need to feel really good right now. So that's really what we wanted to do for them.
Okay, and like I saw one of your videos was one of your strategies, how not to gain 50 pounds while being quarantined at home.
Yes.
To me, those are the things to me that like keep you going. On a personal level, you love this, and you love creating the content, and you also come up with these creative things. So just, can you give me one or two creative things that you've done that are keeping, and we're going to talk about the business part, that are keeping your clients engaged and continuing to pay? Because a lot of people think, I'm just taking a break from everything in my life, I'm going to sit in the couch for 2 months, but you're keeping your business going. So that's really what we want to know, because we all have to keep the lights on. We have to pay our bills as business owners, and we have families to take care of. So that's the nitty gritty. So how you doing that?
I didn't think about that at all. I wasn't kind of like thinking about, okay, how much money do I have to make? In my experience, that's just, I'm sure it works great for some people. In my experience, it just doesn't work great. My focus was, how can I provide the most value to my clients and my staff right now? And that kind of equated to, us being able to keep the doors open and all that stuff. So, a couple of things that we did, like, I know last Tuesday, my staff members, they were saying that people were kind of like a little down. So I was like, all right, what's a fun thing? And randomly, I was like, let's do a charcuterie board party. So we did a live charcuterie board party in the group, which was so random, but it was.
I'm in the group. I loved it. Yeah,
it was like a fun little thing to do. We also had our app scheduled.
You talked about hummus in there too, like a little hummus. And I tried it. I love hummus, and I got a little hummus like on a napkin, and it was like the last of the hummus. I actually ate a piece of a napkin to get that last drip of. I
would do the same thing. It's like
I love hummus.
Napkin. Yeah, I don't waste any hummus. I would take a little napkin for a little hummus. We also, we had our app scheduled to come out, and people were very excited about that. And I made sure that it was still going to happen on time, because
yes, the app is coming out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we want to just make sure we're providing normalcy and value. Really, that's the two main points.
So I love this because you're saying what you're doing. It's kind of like what I'm doing. It's like just give massive value. It's instead of trying to think about, well, we have to make a certain amount of money, keep the doors open. This might sound naive to a lot of people who don't own a service business. Okay. But if you own a service business, the idea is don't think in terms of, right now, how much money you make. Think in terms of being of value to the people you service, because that's what will allow us to survive now as businesses and to thrive when we come out of this. Because if you think about how many other businesses are not doing this, so provide value, keep people engaged, stay top of mind, and then you'll come out of this. And that's where the real value and the real community comes in.
It's so true. And I feel like our community is more close knit now than it was. And, one idea that I think, even industries can try to use in some way, shape, or form, even if, your industry doesn't quite allow for virtual or isn't quite as adaptable is I guess, for lack of a better word, like brokering something that your clients need. So, for example, I'm not a gourmet chef at all. But my friend Tony is. So I was like, all right, Tony, you're not really working very much right now. Why don't you come and do a little thing for my guys? So now Tony's making, getting clients, making some money, doing some stuff. My clients are happy. We're actually trying to do this right now with gyms. We created a little nutrition program that gyms can use virtually with their clients. So they're getting it from me. So now I'm getting new clients. They're getting a service that they couldn't provide and they're charging for it. So, the idea of like brokering different things that maybe your clients need that you don't provide, find somebody who does, and, create some kind of a deal that way.
I love that. That kind of collaboration is so priceless. And, it takes a bit of creativity to do. You've been collaborating with other businesses for years. I've seen you collaborate in so many different ways. It's very difficult to just start collaborating. But if somebody wants to start collaborating in their business and they want to work with another business that could be complementary, what advice do you give them to get started on that?
I would say first thing to do is list out all the problems that your product creates, because everyone's product creates some kind of problem. Like, for example, mine can be, I'll teach you how to eat well, but, maybe, I don't have a recipe. Well, I do, but like, let's say I didn't. So I would have to then call somebody who, was really great at creating recipes and maybe help them with that, Or here's a really good example. So we do nutrition, right? But we don't do workouts. So we could call somebody who, it's a problem. I don't want to get involved in that. That's not my niche. I don't want to water down what I do, but somebody else does it really well. So the first thing is I would create a list of all the problems that your clients are experiencing that you don't solve. And then I would, just ask around, the nice thing about having a weird situation like this is everybody is very open and everybody, is very, there is that sense of community and, people are excited for new ideas and there's going to be
like what we're doing now.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's go through a couple of quick shout outs out there because I saw a couple of names. Okay. Jen Gates is out there. Hey, Jen. And Jen gave us a heart. So am I doing it right? I don't know. I got to do the heart. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Thank you very much. And who else? Frank is out there. Our buddy Frank Maurizio, the Tip Tuesday man. He is so inspiring. He's going to be on, I think, in the next week or two. Isabel. Now, Isabel is a dear friend. She's like a second mother to me growing up. So that is incredible. And if you ever want to have somebody on, Isabel Durenzo, if you ever want to have somebody on for cooking, you will not do better than Isabel. Okay. Grew up in Ozone Park. They know how to make food there. Okay. Right, Isabel? So that is incredible. We've got a couple of comments / questions. So let's take a look at these. Okay. Two of them are me. Okay. So we have Pete Hirschhorn. Hey, Mitch, looking forward to your discussion. Thank you, Pete. Thank you so much. Frank is out there. Hey, Frank, how are you? Love it that you're here. Thank you. And John Robertson, a name we were talking about before. We are coming out of this stronger than before. Frank, hi, Michelle Blum.
Hi.
And John here. I love the quality of the program today. Ha ha. You must be thinking about the part where you said your head must be made out of granite. And John has a new haircut. Did you notice he has a new hairdo?
I did see that. I've been seeing a lot of new haircuts on Facebook. So
yeah, especially the guys. It's just, It's
the one time that I feel like we have the advantage here, like you guys have
oh
a
yeah.
haircut. We can go a year without a haircut. Well,
I ordered a buzzer, so I'm going to attempt to work it myself. Well, look, I'm a guy. Worst comes to worst, I give myself a crew cut, and then a month later, I'm good. No big deal. Okay. John is out there. Michelle, virtual is brilliance for your future, right? I see this for you beyond today's nightmare. Absolutely, John.
yeah.
Michelle is terrific, and she's in it for. Michelle, you're playing the long game. I mean, you're giving value now because you're creating community. You're creating customer brand and loyalty. It's really incredible what you're doing. That's why I'm so happy you're my guest today. Russell is out there. There you go, Mitch. Oh, Russell gave us the salad emoji. Thank you, buddy. We really appreciate that. Frank says, nothing funny about all the weight I am gaining. Yeah, we all agreed that there's nothing funny about the weight you're gaining. I'm just kidding. Frank, you don't look like you've gained any weight to me. So you're looking good, buddy. But we'll all have a reason to get back to the gym after this.
Frank is after my number.
That's right. And my good buddy Jonathan Greenhut is out there. Hey, John, great to see you, man. I am so flattered that you are out there, John, watching this. Thank you very much. John and I are best of friends since kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And we go back a long ways. We're in each other's wedding parties, roommates in college. We live nearby each other. It's really, really incredible. We've got a few people out there, and I just want to get back to check on LinkedIn because we've got a few lovely people out there on LinkedIn. Listen, we're getting a lot of comments and people out there, and we appreciate it. Here's one. This is the most important question that we're going to get for the whole day. Do you see that? Okay, that is it. Dawn, thank you very much. I should have asked that. I hear it's tequila, but what are you thinking for alcoholic beverages?
It depends if you're going for a marathon or a sprint. So if you're going for the marathon, meaning you're going trying to keep that buzz all day, I would say you want to go for the spiked seltzers are amazing and they're coming out with such cool flavors. You could also do a light beer would be comparable. A light beer, the spiked seltzers, they run you about 100 calories, give or take. If you do a glass of wine and that's a 5-ounce pour, which nobody pours a 5-ounce pour, that's closer to 120. So it's slightly more, but again, most people are pouring closer to 8 to 12 ounces. So wine ends up being a little bit worse for you in that respect. But if you're going for just get from point A to point B in the fewest amount of calories possible, hard alcohol is the way to go with a non-caloric mixer that's not diet soda. It's just my personal opinion. So if you did a vodka club or a tequila club, something like that is perfect.
Okay, every now and then maybe you should just give your liver a rest or something, And,
yeah.
Okay, and you know what? This is a really good question here from my friend John. Top foods for a healthy immune system. Now, Michelle, didn't you do a whole video or post? You did a whole research thing about that.
Yeah, I think I've done these interviews so many times. I did one for Newsday. I did a bunch of them, and it was so funny. In the beginning of the pandemic, my answer was elderberry and things like that, and now I'm who the hell is finding elderberry? Nobody. So my list has gotten a little bit more realistic. Top 5 would be red pepper. Red pepper, believe it or not, has bell pepper. Mm-hmm. They're easy to find. Could find them at John.
You can get those from John Robertson at the Sexy Salad. Just want to say.
More vitamin C than any citrus fruit, which is huge. Green tea in general is great, but especially green tea. There's a compound in there called ECGC, which is an antioxidant and also antiviral. A lot of mushrooms are actually really great, also have antiviral components. We actually sell a product called Immunity on our website. So if you go to NutrishMish.com, go to our store, it's basically all the yellow and orange fruits and vegetables kind of ground up into a powder. You could do something like that. And either turmeric and or ginger are also very good if you can incorporate that in somehow. Oh, and garlic, raw garlic is great. So top 6.
Yes, that is all good. So thank you for asking, John. That's a very good question. Okay, we have some people out there in LinkedIn land. Matt Merson, thank you very much. Matt is vice president of a company called Nugs, and they're doing the I don't want to butcher this, Beyond Meat of chicken nuggets and chicken products.
Cool.
Using vegetarian plant-based proteins and products. And Matt knows a lot about marketing. He's been in involved with a lot of food and beverage companies. He knows a ton about this stuff. Paul Greco. Hey, Paul, love that. Add as much value to your clients. So we've got a definitely someone who agrees with us out there. Paul, thank you very much. LOL, make it happen. We will. Can't benchmark any economic factors during a health crisis versus a financial crisis. Very true, Paul. We've never seen anything like this. And again, like you and I discussed recently in the LinkedIn Live, Paul was saying that this is a health crisis that caused a financial crisis, not just a financial crisis. So, take care of the health crisis. We get the economy going again. Easier said than done. I certainly get that. We've got a few more people out there. We've got our friend Dove, Joe D. Ra out there. It's kind of a nickname-ish thing. So I appreciate everybody out there. So Michelle, before we end this, we've been, believe it or not, 30 minutes have already gone by. Although I sucked like 5 minutes out of the conversation with my long introduction about the market and oil and contango and
that stuff's important.
Oh yeah, that stuff's not important. So to end this, so we could be in this social distancing thing for another month or two. It could be a lot longer. I mean, I'm hoping it's not more than a month or two. But tell us, any other words of wisdom for a business owner that needs to really shift? What's the first thing they should do?
I think the best thing to do is don't think of these things as problems. Just think of them as challenges. And when you have that entrepreneurial mindset, you can. It could take you one way, or it could take you another way. It could take you in a way where you get excited and hyped up and let me try to figure this out. Or it could seem like the world is crashing down on you. Same situation, but two different takes on it. So I think the best thing to do is just understand that we are going to come out of this. There is going to be a story. Your stories, you're making it now. Your attitude and your perseverance and your intentions and everything. That's going to be creating maybe your next 10 years is how you're handling what's going on right now. So, I think the best thing to do is try to, hard as it is, stay positive and really just, look at all these things as opportunities. Because I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of opportunities that they didn't even realize they had before. And people's businesses are going to be doing so much better on the other side of this because they looked at it, not as the world was crashing down on them.
Sure. So get up or get out of the way.
Yes.
Here's your website. And we've got you over here. We've got testimonials from your customers. You've got lots of testimonials. And I think you have the, look at this one here in the middle. I don't know if people could see that one. But you've got people who are posing in bathing suits. So that's a lot of confidence to do that. And they lost a lot of weight. And look, there's a fellow over here, Chris Palma. I don't know you, Chris, but good job, man. You're looking good. And a lot of other people. And you have Lori Levine over here, Lori Levine. It's really cool. Here's one I know.
Oh, and then Andrew
Janicek, Code Red. All right. And what else? How can we find you? I know you're on Facebook.
Yep.
Right?
Book at NutrishMish. On Instagram, also at NutrishMish. That's NutrishMish.
Here's your Instagram.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Is this an acai bowl over here?
That is, yes.
Okay, that looks delicious right about now. And here's a picture of you with our friend Rich Tavares and your fiance Tim.
Yep.
Oh, this is a beautiful picture of you guys right in the middle. That's a lovely picture. That was at Ohika Castle. I remember that I was there too. I love how his tie matches your dress. It's beautiful. And so we could reach you, Michelle, NutrishMish.com.
Yep. We also have a podcast, which is called Healthy-ish with NutrishMish. So you can go on iTunes or Spotify or any of those places and download that. We just recently posted an episode about all the specific challenges we're seeing nutritionally right now with quarantine and all the solutions that we've seen actually work with our clients. So you can download Healthy-ish with NutrishMish and you can hear all that.
Gotcha. So look, do me a favor. I'm going to end this broadcast now, but post in the comments all the ways we could reach you, a link to your podcast so everybody gets to see it, and I'll give it a couple of comments as well and keep this thing going. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining Michelle and I think you can now see why I am so happy that Michelle agreed to be my guest on this show. And we'll see everybody soon. Let's give everybody a wave. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Take care.